Welcome to the panel breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Sardo. We are in the Monkeys Fighting Robots studio. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to bring back the panel breakdown. What we are going to do here is break apart a few elements of this book and tell you why they work so well. Today we are talking about Batman and the Joker, the deadly duo. Number one, a DC Black Label book with artist and writer Marc Silvestri helming the book, Arif Prianto as the colorist. And then we have Troy on letters. Okay, the first thing that jumps out at me about this book is the cover. One, I picked it up on the comic book store. Like, it made me want to pick it up. I go to Sarge's Comics in New London, Connecticut. Where are you guys picking up your comic books? Put a shout out in the comments and support your local comic book store. Okay, so this book right here screams, buy me right now. Pick me up. Pick me up. So much chaos is happening here. It almost reminds me of like an X-Men cover. You got this nice little X-Men action right here. Batman is in his Wolverine pose. Like, this is like the hotness right now. All the elements are there to create a nice cover. The way that everything directs towards the middle and then leads to this cover. It's like a nice hourglass kind of feel to it. But what I liked about it is it's like a matte finish, and then there's like a sheen just to Batman. I don't know if that'll translate in the video, but it like, whew, such fire. But yeah, the weight, and I like this matte finish because like I don't get any fingerprints on there. Like, new comic books nowadays with the shiny covers, like as soon as you accidentally touch them, like your fingerprint is right on the cover. So I do like that. It does have like a premium feel to it and has a nice weight to it. So you're like, okay, DC Black Label book. It feels good. And then also it does everything it needs to do to explain the movie to you, or the movie, because it definitely is a blockbuster movie. You have Batman, you have the Joker. They have kind of like almost equal weight in the cover. Then you have like your new villain, the wild card, and then Gotham City's on fire. Like, what else do you need to know? Pure chaos is going to happen in this book. And the cover nails it. That's the first element that just really popped out to me. The second page that I want to show you, this is a nice total splash page. And this is where things get very cinematic here. Let's see. Everything's a little shiny. Let's see if I can turn that a little bit. Get a little less glare on the page for you. Okay, now we can see it. See it well. There we go. Oh yeah, we're coming in good now. All right, the studio is a work in progress, but we are definitely going to bring you some high quality content. Why I like this page is it makes me ask questions about the physics of Batman. This pose right here, it's a very like Dick Grayson, flying Grayson pose. You can see him like doing the high wire act in the trapeze. But what this does so well is it lays out a movie for you. You have this shot where you're looking down, and then you look up and you see Batman. He's made his jump. And then the punchline of the joke is put in focus, and Batman gets closer. And then you have this like swooping motion. And then because of this word balloon here, you slide all the way across to see Batman exiting the alley or leaving the alley. And then this makes you want to turn the page right here. Side note, sidebar, these Easter eggs on the dumpsters are brilliant, Mark. Just simply brilliant. I love them so much. All right, going back to this panel. We've seen something like this in the movies. So what my brain is doing is adding a whole bunch of different elements here because this page is planned out and laid out so well. So I have like, I'm in Batman's eyes. Then I hear the jump and you can see how high it is and the moon is perfectly there. And you're like, what? And then Batman gets closer. And then you have this motion and you can hear the cape moving. I can hear the sounds of the siren or the cops. Like there's that background noise that you hear. You hear the muttering, you hear the what's the like, oh, like you hear all of this and the shuffling of the cape and then the ruffle of the papers. Like I hear this so loud in my head right now. And you almost hear it like transition into the Batman the Animated Series theme song. You can hear all of this stuff happen. You can feel the coldness of the weather. You can feel like the coldness of the pavement or the building. Like there's some element of like texture that I'm feeling from this in the clouds and this circle, like these lines that are like there, like showing the action, like everything. And then you have this like nice little swooping motion. Like your brain makes this a movie. And it's because of how Marc laid out these 4 panels, this big splash page, and then this one long page of like there's so much movement here and like chaos and the feel of the depth of the city going on here that it just works so well. I want to know like if Marc was like running around the house or like had action figures and was trying to figure out the pull-up maneuver on Batman with his cape. Because that's where I want to talk about the physics. Like, so if you're a physicist, I don't know if that's the right person, but like, physics. So if you like know the physics of like actions and everything, I would love to see how this actually worked out in the real world or real world practice of what was going on. But I also really don't care because it's a Batman comic book and I'm just along for the ride. And this page right here is brilliant. It shows off Marc's like layout skills and then shows off his like, hey, I'm just going to draw a big giant Batman across the page and make you like just feel the moment. Like that is just like bonkers good. But what sets this up for me is the couple panels before is you have this like nice cityscape, a very like Tim Burton-esque building. And then like all these lines and like this line going this way, this line going that way, all the perspectives wrap the, there we go. We can see it good now. All the perspectives wrap Gotham City around me so much to where, again, I get into this cinematic mode and I hear the murmuring of the street. I hear the rumble of the city. I see these sirens. Like I understand, like I start making this move for me. I see the moon. I feel the weather that's going on there. Like this is where my brain starts going crazy because I'm excited to read the book. But also I would love to see this page by itself and just see all the effort that went into making Gotham City. Like that's underrated. I mean, that's an underrated skill. I don't think we talk about that enough is like what an artist does with the background of the books and how they're building buildings and like the perspective and nailing the perspective because my brain is doesn't realize that there's anything off and I'm able to like absorb this comic book. Like that definitely has to be like people have to notice that. And it's one of those things that you don't notice because you're absorbed in the book, but like props to Marc on this setup here. Here's another nice cityscape, more Christopher Nolan-esque, but it flows out into you and like it makes it want to go around you. And even like the way the Batmobile and this panel is laid out, it makes you want to go to this page turn, but it also makes it want to continue past you. And I think that's just brilliant. I love these chapter pages. Nothing epic, but it personifies the mood of the comic book. Okay, this page right here, I would love, Marc, if you're listening, if you're watching, I would love to know your thought process on this because this is the build up to the action. Like, I mean, this is the city. You got the wrap of the train that brings you to this panel. You can hear the crash and the jump out. You can hear the thud. Like everything works so well on there. Like, I mean, we're getting some really good things. You get to turn to the villain, but then I feel like this should have been on this side, one page. Like this could have been a separate page. This could have been a page. And then this breaking out of the new villain should have been its own full-size page where you get like a good look at the villain. And you're like, what the hell is that? So, Mark, I want to know your thought process on keeping this smaller. I mean, if I was doing it, I would have had the big scary moment revealed as big as Batman and have it on equal sides. So you're like, oh, shit. Like, that's what I would have done. But, like, tell me what you were thinking here and why you kept it here. I mean, I do like these. You got eyeballs here. You got eyeballs here. Like, this is me nitpicking here. I love the flash of the light. You get the reflection here. Like, there are really good elements. Like, I mean, or it could have been like on this page. But then this action page, like, this had me moving back and forth. I'm like, thud, I'm moving. It goes this way, it goes that way. This downward motion, a cross motion, get thrown. Like, oh man, the action scene in this is just brilliant. Again, I say brilliant a lot because everything is moving so well. But right here, this panel right here is my favorite panel of the book. It's very simple, but it carries the most emotional weight of the story. Not enough time to save them all. And you see Batman running towards them with his cape out. I love how I'm flaring my cape right here. And then you have these silhouettes of people. And this silhouette, taking away all the details of who these people are, makes me relate to this page. It makes me put a person that I know or I've seen in the comic. It makes me care about these people. And then the 22 is highlight, the 22 stands out. And you're like, fudge. That's a kid. I don't want a kid to die. Like, so much emotional weight is put into this panel. And everything is thought out. And your brain kind of here it is. Here's the words. Here's Batman. Here's this nice curve of the people. And then you always come back. Like, if you swing out this way, you swing back and you always come back to this 22 and this kid. And you're like, I don't want this kid to die. And it's beautiful comic book storytelling in one panel. But Jesus, Mark, the weight you bring with this. And I am so impressed with what you did with this panel. And that's why it is my favorite panel of the story. I'm not going to show you the rest because this isn't a book review. We're not going to talk about the story. The book is good. It's a fun comic book. It is a blockbuster movie. Mark is going crazy with this. I'm very excited to read the second issue. And I think you should be too. So if you've picked up this book, Batman the Joker, The Deadly Duo issue 1, and you enjoyed it, and you have a favorite panel of the comic book, please let me know and tell me why you liked it. Like, this is the conversation that we should be having with comic books. It shouldn't be like Marvel versus DC or this versus that. It should be like, holy shit, this comic book's amazing. And let me tell you why it's amazing. And I just did. I told you why this book's amazing. I love the artwork in this. So I'm Matt Sardo. This is the panel breakdown at the Monkeys Fighting Robot Studio. And I am so excited and I can't wait to talk to you next. So if you like this, subscribe to our YouTube page, give it a like, throw some comments down, do all that social fun stuff that makes other people see this, and read more comic books.